Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of agenda changes and additions. So we have the addition of I to the consent agenda, approval of Julia Heimer as prom advisor, and Jake, approval of quote from Midwest Door of Austin for the bus garage door repair. Oh, and thank you, Tim. Highlights and recognitions addition. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Carl, is there a second?
Second.
Krista? Oh, Chad? Chad. Second, Chad. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Approval of the minutes. Consider the approval of the minutes of the school board meeting February 17th, 2021. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Carl, is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda? Krista, is there a second? Dave, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Community reports, highlights and recognitions.
I just wanted to thank Mower County Health. They did a fabulous job of across Mower County to get staff for schools vaccinated. We had over, we are completely, everyone who in Lyle, who works for Lyle, who's had the opportunity to get tested or abstained. I think about 80% of our staff are nearly vaccinated, both of them. So there's a lot of coordination and effort that went in. So I want to thank Mower County Health for that.
Thank you. Are there any public comments? Jamie,
Nope.
did you get any?
Nope.
I didn't either. School board committee updates, negotiations committee.
Nope.
Legacy committee. We have we just had a little quick discussion on purchasing boys basketball conference championship t-shirts. So we will be sharing that with Shelley, and that's the only thing we've discussed recently. So. Community education.
I've been having a meeting, and it looks like a lot of different ideas, but it looks like we are going to proceed with Twin Seeds for the summer. More information will obviously come on that. Fine tuning really what we're going to do with the summer rec program, with a lot of input from the school, but then we still have to look to hire someone. There's been interest in doing the strength and conditioning, maybe doing 2 sessions. And we can put it out there. Maybe we'll get to do an adult session. Let's wait and see.
Oh, yeah.
So, really no updates yet. There's a whole lot of here with really no information regarding library. But I think we'll probably do something like that. And I think we're going to start doing some of the little classes that we can. Start bringing stuff in. Got the approval to maybe bring Ranzu back.
Oh, good.
This summer. Just doing something like that. So, got a couple ideas. Some movie nights, CPR, and do some cricket classes or some painting and stuff like that. So
People are
we can
looking
start
for
back
stuff
up.
to do, right?
Yeah, we can bring stuff back into. It's been a long hiatus.
It has. All right, thanks, Kristen. Finance committee,
Good on that.
LPAC. We have a meeting this coming Tuesday. We'll discuss spring sport, I guess,
Yep.
probably. Facilities committee,
Have not met this past month.
policy.
We're bringing 3 policies
Yep.
forward tonight.
Strategic plan. Nope. Library committee.
Nothing yet?
My board.
No.
On to the finances. Bradley.
Jamie, can you drop me off screen sharing?
Will do. You turning your volume on?
I should be on here. All right. So that Carl can get to a basketball game, I will try to go as fast as I can. But Carl's got water bottles to fill up and stuff. All right. We just finished up February. Can you mute, Jamie? All right, we just finished up February, so we're our big item is state aids. That's still is on track. Federal dollars, we're ahead of previous years because we got all sorts of new grants from the feds. I did just draw a couple days ago another 15 grand from one of those grants, so that's primarily funding our Cubs Club program. Looking at our expenditures, we're getting close to the end of the year here, so I'll be getting you a revised budget for our next meeting. So things are, the overall percentage wise are pretty well in line, but there's definitely some things I want to fine tune to things that we really didn't know were going to happen or how they were going to happen due to COVID. So we've got a number of things that I'll adjust quite a bit, but nothing that's too out of line to cause concern there. But flipping to our next page is our food service, community service, debt service. One of the things that you'll see on the March report, I did reallocate some revenues to the community service fund to help fund the Cubs Club program. So that'll be a fairly big swing in that group, but you won't see that on this report. That'll be next time. Questions on any of the myriad of numbers I just showed you? All right, treasurer's report showing our cash balances. February was a positive month for cash. We trying to get the just right size there. Picked up about $145,000 over the course of the month. So that's a good thing for us, and we'll keep trying to build those balances so that we can do all the things that we need to do in the coming months and years. So good news is with our operating referendum money coming in, we actually are building cash rather than spending cash like we've been doing for the last 4 years. So changing that trajectory is a big deal. So questions on cash? Okay, payments. Going looking for highlights. A new one there is Verizon. We now have in the district's possession a set of, they call them jetpacks. They are little devices that can provide internet for our students that are unable to afford that service. So especially a big deal if we're on distance learning, those folks. So then Children's Reading Foundation, $10,852.80. That is a very large pile of curriculum that we got for our early childhood family education program. You may have seen a photo of Corey McRae sitting on those at some point on Facebook. So that was that pile of curriculum. All right. Midwest 3D Solutions, $17,750. That is for our brand new laser engraver. So we will get, I think it's about $13,700 of funding for that from the Carl Perkins grant. And then Mr. Hanson did manage to round up some local grants and donations that make up the difference on that. So I know he's really excited and doing all sorts of cool stuff already with it. So yeah. And second to the bottom line, that's all going to Dan. That's smack. That's a quarter's worth of our itinerant staff that SMEC provides. That's also our half a year's worth of lease levy payment for the new SMEC building. So they just both came at the same time. So a bigger check than we normally pay for that, but that's what's going on with that one. So anything else that anybody else saw that they have questions on? Yeah. Excellent point. Yeah. Yeah, we refunded dollars that students or parents paid directly in for the trip. We are not refunding fundraising dollars because we are not allowed to do that. So.
Carl, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Reports and presentations. Dan Armagas.
All right, Dan Armagas, Executive Director for SMAC. I've seen most of you. I see a couple new faces, so I won't talk about the co-op and what we are and where we do. You can give me a call and I can touch base with you a little bit there because I know I'm on a time limit. So I want to go through the audit. Our audit's done by Smith Shaker. I believe it's the same one that you guys have here at Lyle. When you look at our audit information, we were given a clean opinion for the audit. So that went well. If you turn to page 3, it shows our revenues. On the bottom, you can see the different revenue sources that SMEC has coming in. The federal funds stays pretty consistent. Then you can see the state revenues and then the others. They have gone up quite a bit in the last couple of years. So the state revenues would be the revenue that's coming in from level 3, level 4 programs, staff that are being used by SMAC, your ALC, anything that we're coming from the state. And then when you look at the others on the green, that's primarily what's being billed out to member districts and other districts using services for the majority of that revenues. When you look, we have significant growth each year because of adding programs, taking on contracts and continuing to do that so that we have, and when we look at programs, trying to have a continuum of services that meets the needs of all of our kids. I think 2020 is going to be kind of our high year as far as at this point, we have the services we need. We have them set up in both East and West, and we have a level 4 program. So I'm thinking that we'll be flattening out into the future unless we add other districts that would justify a change there. But you can see in 2019, it was about 4.5 million. In 2020, the revenues were right around that $60 million mark. When you look at the next page is the general fund activities. With 2012, 2016, basically what came in is what went out. Your revenues and expenditures matched. When we went over on that, it's because we were selling services out to other co-ops. And if they're not part of our member districts, we have a 10% bump on anything we charge. 2017, 18, 19, 20, we start to build that fund balance for our building, for our project that way. And that's where you'll see some of the increase there. You can see a little bit of a hiccup in 2020 that our revenues, our expenditures when our revenues. With that, we looked at a couple things working with the district business managers, our cabinet and our board to really correct that. So one of the biggest things was updating our billing procedure, our bond payment schedule, and starting to build a fund reserve back up. So that's what we're doing on that side of things. And then the next one, general fund balance. One of the things we asked to do, the auditors to do that you didn't see in 19 was to separate the unassigned and the non-spendables amounts. So they were able to go back and do that for 19 and 20. When you look at your unassigned fund balance, that's that blue, that's right about at that 10%. That's our minimum fund balance. One of the things we did with the cabinet is moving that to strive for 15%. We know that that's not going to happen overnight, but we're trying to work towards that so we have the cash flow to carry on business, get our curriculum, get our staff trained. That green is building improvements, that 164 there, and maintenance, so that would be our assigned fund. And then when you look at the non-spendable restricted, you're looking at more of our third-party billing, ALC, and our compensatory education dollars. They all have a specific purpose and on how they have to be spent. Any questions on that? Building construction fund activity, it looks like there's a little bit of money left in there, and it's not, basically, we spent everything that we had come in, we were able to spend on that, building construction's done. So that is done with that. If you turn the page there, the building construction fund balance, we still have that 268, 240 in there. That has to remain in that account until we're done paying for the building, and then at the end of that, that money gets applied to the last payment, principal payment there.
Dan, as of now, is that all, is that gone, or do you still actually have that in over 9 months of the new year?
The 268?
Yeah.
I think we have it all. I think
Okay.
that's the amount that we had to keep in place until the building's paid for.
Okay, there's 200,000 that you got for restricted for debt service. I think that's maybe what you're.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just thinking that might be, something you just spent in July or August or something.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, I think you're right. Yeah, that would have been the final payment. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Bradley. So if you go to the summary, looking at it, general fund expenditures exceeded the revenue by 23,000 in 2020. I think again, by updating our billing schedules, working with our business managers, we're able to correct that. When you look at the unassigned general fund balance, we're at that 10.3. Again, we're looking at getting that to that 15%. Other things that they talked about, cash flow and fund balance considerations. That first bullet, they talked about changing metering of the state payments, which affect payments of the state special ed aid and payments by member districts. Right now, we get our funding, we get 90% at the current year, and then we get 10% the following year. I think when they were putting this together, they were worried about the deficit that we had in the state of Minnesota, wondering if we were going to be paid on time and whether it'd be a 80-20 or 70-30 split. Obviously now we're in a surplus, so that didn't happen. But that's one of the things they said we have to be careful on and consider when we look at our cash flow. No authority to borrow or levy taxes as a co-op. We don't have that authority. So when we look at borrowing or anything like that, if we're short, it falls on the backs of our member districts. We don't want to do that and come to you guys requesting funds for unexpected things. So again, trying to build that cash balance so that we don't have that. We talked about trying to make sure we have self-sustaining programs with our level 3, level 4 programs. It doesn't work that way with special education, but that's what we're striving for our ALC. We're one of the few districts in the state of Minnesota that has an ALC that right now is paying for itself with the revenue coming in, and we're hoping to keep it that way when we look at it. Facility improvements, just knowing that we have to have money to go to that. We've had issues with our wells. Right now that's still under warranty, but something to know. We've had issues with the windows. We had to order a water softener and fix a few toilets. So again, just making sure that we have cash on hand to be able to take care of some of those things. And then again, working at stabilizing our membership charges. Over the years, they continue to grow, but really hoping with the billing procedures, having that put in place, we can level those out and at least make it known what the fees are. We've implemented a non-membership access fee for students that are using our facilities that are from outside our member districts, where we can get some of our costs covered that way. And then, like I said, we worked on a bond payment schedule. So right now you got one of the bills right now this month, but really when we set it up, we have it set up where one's at the start of the year, one is at the end of the year. So you're not getting hit twice at the same time there. Other things to consider is just transportation. In a lot of our districts, transportation is tough, and when it comes to special ed, for the most part, transportation is 100% reimbursed, but it's a matter of getting the drivers and the vans. The other thing with it is with a level 3, level 4 kids, having people that have that rapport with the students, so it's a non-eventful drive. So that's something that we continue to work on as part of our 5-year plan, is doing that. So the districts that need help with the transportation, we can provide it, and those that don't need it will continue to do their own. So it's kind of up to you guys. That being said, that's all I have on the audit, and that would be one that you would look at getting approved by the board there, and then I'll go through my other quick updates.
So we just need a motion to approve.
All right, is there a motion to approve these SMAC financial audit?
I'll make the motion.
Carl, a second. Sean, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
She
approved, yeah.
So other quick updates back at center, when we look at our ALC, we're at right now about 50 students at the ALC and 25 doing credit recovery. When I look at a full non-COVID year, we'd like to have that number right around 60. Again, being cost effective and covering our expenses. But right now with 50 in there, we're doing, some kids are there all in person, some are all distance learning, and some are coming in a couple days a week. We also look at changing up our times where we could have it where some staggering our time so that we can be open till 5, so we can meet needs of all of our students. But right now, it's looking good, and I would say based on our regular 8 to 3, we're full. Level 4 program, looking at that, was full at 12. Right now, we're at 11 students, and we got 2 on the waiting list for that program. So again, one of the things keeping the cost down is having it full, and we are full. We have some rather big beefy guys in there. So again, the 12 number sounded good until you got them in the room. So we have to drop it back just for the sheer size of some of our boys. We have outdoor learning spaces are going along pretty nice. So when we come to the Spec Academy that we'll be working on this year with the rest of the principals, we'll have the space ready to go. So we have a pavilion out there, a gazebo. We got our garden in that area all ready to go, a nice nature walking area. So it looks really nice. Talked to you a little bit already. Things be watching for that we're working on is improvements are the well softener, toilets, window. The well's still under warranty, so fine will has been good and standing by the product, and it's come out and it has assured us that they're gonna make sure it's working for us. Other SMAC things, SMAC Academy reading camp, our STEM camp, robotics, art, stuff like that would be going on. Building principals are working on that and getting a schedule pulled together. So we're hoping that we can get students in person and outside for that type stuff. And then as far as the SMEC finance, other than the audit, just know that we have a new business management structure that we're working with, new billing procedures that we're going through and implementing, and we all get approved each year, and we'll run it through our business managers before we go to the cabinet on that. And then our fund balance increase. So there's your updates, and I'll take any questions.
So the well's okay right now?
What's that?
Is the well working all right now?
Right now, it's working all right. The main thing with a well, and some of you guys may have more experience, that we have a reservoir. And basically what was happening is, it would suck all the water through, and I'll show you some pictures. Our plumbing all got clogged up with all this sediment, calcium deposit, and just filled it out unbelievable. So then we came in, blew those all out, cleaned it out, but the same thing was happening to the veins that fed that reservoir. So basically, they were getting clogged. Now, all of a sudden, you have a problem with the water, not having enough water to meet the needs of the building. So then we had them come back in, and remember, originally they had to drill one well, then they drilled another one to take care of that problem. So we built 2 wells in there. So now coming back in, we had them come back in. They were drilling in and basically trying to shoot pressure down in the well to clear out those veins so that we could get the water running, which they did do, and it helped. But that's a short-term fix, because what happens after a while, they'll fill back up. So basically, the solution is our well house. They would come in, move the well house, take it down so they can get a bigger piece of equipment in there to basically open up that reservoir more. Or the second option is they'll have to come in and drill another well. Again, very expensive. I think if they were going to bill us for the work they did to come and fix the original one, it was like $50,000. To come in and do the new well, it's going to be right around there, but they have not charged us for a thing. And basically, I got a letter on their letterhead stating that we stand by our product, and if it means a new well, you'll get a new well, a third well, and if it means removing that, putting in, taking care of. So again, the guys they've been stand-up company to work with, so they've been good to us.
I know that was just the issue in January, and I was just wondering where we were.
Yeah, it's.
I think you had the water off at that time.
Yes, we had to go 3-4 days. So the COVID was nice. We actually did a COVID planning day week, and it was partially so we could plan for COVID, but it partially was our water was shut down. We couldn't have kids in the building, so we kind of used that way. Yeah, it was terrible. And then with staff coming in, you're down to no bathrooms, so I had to have them all work from home. So again, hopefully we'll make it to the end of the year, and then clear everyone out and get them back in to give us a permanent fix.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Jamie?
All right, so a couple of highlights, just to give you guys an update, there's been no letter from the State High School League. I thought I did when I got something, but that was completely unrelated. I did finally get a clear answer from the State High School League, one of their board members, and I shared that with you guys as a board, actually giving some real definitive common sense reasons why they did that. We didn't like the answers, but they still at least gave us, so that at least it was nice after months and months of trying, we finally got some answers. But when I spoke with the rest of SMEC, the soups, they were all standing by that we're still going to wait for that, you know, more of the letter of you need to pay this now or else. So I'll just keep you updated on that. Regarding the State High School League, all of us, there was a survey or vote this past week. So moving forward, the MASA, which is the School Administrators Association, and State High School League is working together to get 2 permanent superintendents on their board. It's been something they've been trying for years, and with that, something like this will actually make they'll actually have some other people that from a school side, business side, that will give hey, this isn't the right way to do this. So I'm thinking about it, but I don't know if I won yet. But vaccine update I gave you guys, like I said, 80% about have been. We did have an event last week with a couple of us. It was a struggling Thursday and Friday, but we made it through. We've talked for years about the windows. Facility is wise. So we finally had someone come in and take a look at them. He gave a quote, and basically the quote was to caulk all of this and all the way around the major elementary part, around the windows, all the cracks. The first quote came in rather high, around 73. There was we're awaiting another quote at this point. So I think I'll give you guys an update when that comes out, and we'll probably have another facility meeting to look it over and decide, give a recommendation to the board on what to do. Basically, there are windows where there's gaps in there and there's caulking that has gone bad over how old is this building, that's never been recaulked. So it's probably inevitable that we need to do something. Just got to find the right person to do it and then for the right price. The person who came and fixed something a few years back, Joel said that's the one that we're waiting the other quote on. So
Are they local? Like,
I don't know. You know, I never looked at the
I just
location.
didn't know who did that kind of stuff, but,
The one that we got the quote he's middle of Iowa.
okay.
So he was in the area, and he just happened that when Joel called, he's like, yeah, I'm actually in the area, Owatonna, and he came down on his way down to do it. So
Joseph's got you too. That are really good at it.
Joseph's of it. I don't know if we've,
I think they've talked to him, but I don't know if
Yeah,
they messed with it. I don't know,
yeah,
but I mean, it's something.
We're looking
we can
at least
have it.
get a quote.
I'll put it down to at least have Joel contact them and. We've been working on registration for our fourth quarter, and then next year. So unfortunately, we're doing both at the same time because with the plan that we're coming forward to tonight, adding an additional hour. I just want to highlight something that because of the credit recovery issue that we have, our schedule kind of allows some hours for some credit recovery. We have an hour devoted for ninth grade that is going to help with the credit recovery and also help get them in the right momentum to, hey, you're in big time now, you're a high schooler now. And also the older students, giving them, in essence, pulling them from an elective and getting them to do the classes that we have. And I feel that if we do it now, they make up some of those credits, it'll be less of a burden next year, because like I said, there are a couple of students ninth graders, for instance, who will be 10th graders taking ninth grade classes next year. We're continuing to work with them and their families, but they're still struggling. So prom, you guys approved Julia as the prom advisor. The new regulations that came out last week really don't change much for us, because most of those were for the larger event facilities. But Julia is working with parents. They're going to try to plan some kind of a post-prom thing here in the building. We're asking for parents to come, help out with that and plan something special for the kids. We have talked with Pacelli. We haven't heard anything on that. But again, the regulations really didn't matter. They sounded good, but they really didn't change much for us. But May 8th is the date that we have chosen for our prom. Trap team, that officially started tonight, first night of practice. We had 9 students fully signed up. There's an additional 5 to 6 that are nearly complete. There's a couple of more steps that, it's not as clean as we thought as like football or basketball to sign up, because we can take care of that all in our house. This one's a little bit more with more state driven stuff. But we're going to have about 15 kids on the trap team for the first time. And the coaches were impressed with the numbers.
I didn't know junior high baseball.
So, and then the last thing Corey and I are working on is just, kind of prepping for the rest of the year, and then how next year's gonna look with room placements and juggling all that. So that's my report.
That's yours. All right. I don't have a whole lot to report right now. ACTs are still happening on March 30th. Families have been notified for juniors and seniors for the opportunity to take them. Access testing is complete. So that's phenomenal. Lori Schmidt did an incredible job organizing that and getting it taken care of. MCAs, more communication will be coming out on those. The state is still requiring we take them. So I'm really trying to push to have them only 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks of interruption versus an entire month of interruption. The teachers that I've spoken to so far have liked that a lot, that they don't want the whole month being interrupted with quiet hallways and the stress of MCA testing. So we're trying to really organize that. Right now, looking at curriculum for next year, working with some teachers, working with Bradley closely, helping me out. Thank you for that. And also creating a curriculum map so that we can have a clear rotation of which subjects need new curriculum, because we don't have one of those. So it's going to take a while to get that, but working on it. And then last thing I have is that Eagle Bluff is next week. So Mrs. Shepherd has done a great job of organizing that and having to organize this under COVID restrictions. So both she and Mr. Vidier are going on chaperoning our Eagle Bluff trip next week. And then Mrs. Hall and I are going to chaperone the high ropes course. Yay. Not afraid of heights at all. Oh, I'm gonna cry. It's gonna be okay. That's what I have.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Items for action discussion. A, consider the approval of the K-12 safe return to school plan for fourth quarter.
All right, so our goal of bringing the students back, in the long run, we always thought fourth quarter would be the point, and it is. So our plan, when we talked to the leadership team, to bring everyone back within the restrictions, we came up with a schedule of, I'll break it down in each of the categories. So pre-K, what we were able to do is continue the schedule, but just add an hour to the
Monday through Thursday
Monday.
classes.
Say that again.
So preschool Monday through Thursday is adding an additional hour. Because Friday is their preschool experience. That's just too much time. And then our TK transition to kindergarten is adding an additional hour and a half.
So adding an additional hour, it didn't disrupt the transportation. It worked out really well. 6 through 12, what we were able to do is we were able to bring everyone back. The buses will be full to capacity. We will, from 8:10 to 2:30, we have a schedule set for that. So everyone will be in the building. We're still reviewing room sizes, and there's one particular class that may need to move to another one to fit everybody in, but I think overall that is sitting really well. The K-5 is one that I'll let Corey talk a little bit about that, but what we're looking at is Mondays, keeping that one as is. So Monday through Thursday,
Adding an hour.
only adding an hour, so they're done at 2:30. But Friday's interventions have been very successful, and I'll let you talk.
So something in the past that they wanted to do that never really got rolled out, that we were able to do during distance learning, and I know I've shared it in the past, is at level, not grade level, but at their ability level to do interventions. And they've seen so much growth through FastBridge testing and even in the classroom that the teachers had a hard time giving this up. And we simply can't, if we are all in, we cannot continue that because we can't mix grade levels into different classrooms. The teachers we don't want to give it up because it's been so successful. So adding a math intervention, so they'll have a math and a reading intervention on Fridays at their level, but they would be doing that one at home and logging in and then continuing their Friday.
It is something that we would like, those interventions we'd like to do next year if the restrictions are lifted even further. It is very similar interventions that I used when I was in St. Cloud that was successful, teaching them at their level. But like she said, with COVID and switching students throughout, it becomes it would be an issue that would, if there was ever a COVID case,
Be a lot more
be a
kids.
widespread, then we're out 2 weeks, that situation. So, so that's the idea that we have.
What were we doing for 6 through 12? So
Monday
They
through
would be
Friday.
in
Oh, you're
Monday through
gonna go
Friday, Monday through Friday.
okay.
till 2:30.
Yep,
till 2:30.
8 to 10 to 2:30.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then K5 is Monday through Thursday, 8 to 2:30. And then Friday,
Fridays.
they have scheduled times to log in.
Everyone, okay,
Just K5.
yeah.
Yep, but they will
Everyone in-
all have, they will
Yep,
all
have
have
to
scheduled
log
times
in.
to log in at their levels. And
Right.
Mrs. Donaldson has done an unbelievable job organizing that.
Sounds good, let's hope it works.
I don't know if we need a, I guess, probably need a motion to
Make a
approve
motion
that.
to approve that.
Yeah,
Is it, oh, sorry, thank you, Kristen. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Carl, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? B, consider the approval of the 21-22 district calendar.
so I took a look at it and I misplaced it tonight to bring one, but what we did was, thank you. Someone came prepared. Thank you, Heather. So the only changes that I made from the last time were, I actually confirmed where graduation was in the last day for seniors. The one change is to even out the quarters, I moved second and third quarter start and end dates 1 week forward. That's all it was, is so that they were even, each of the quarters were even, so.
I like the graduation date where it's at now.
Yeah.
I wish it was like that this year. Good.
So 172 days for students, 180 for staff.
That's awesome.
We have the additional day, which I think is going to be very valuable at the beginning of the year for the staff to have an additional day. We're already talking about what we're going to be using those days for. We like the
Any
calendar.
other questions on the calendar? If not, is there a motion to approve? Krista, is there a second? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Consider approving the first reading of the revised district policy 533 wellness.
So this is a policy that, Bradley, you could probably explain this better than I can, but we have to review it every 3 years. When I sent it out to the policy committee, one thing that was highlighted is with the policy itself, there was no issues with it, but just what we're doing in-house to implement some of that stuff. So Barb and I and Corey and others, will look at that. Really came down to, birthday treats, just overall the treats and stuff that we give. So we'll have to review that and have that better in place for next school year.
Who are the folks on our wellness committee?
It's, well, I asked Barb if she would like to take that lead on that, just because from her,
Good person.
yep,
Mhm.
Sandy will be on that one, the two of us, and the teachers, so if there's any of you that
Heather.
would,
Heather.
Heather, you are really
I'm just
interested,
curious,
but,
I didn't,
but-
yeah, I didn't.
it really isn't a, we've kind of been back and forth over the years over wellness, just because we tried to expand it and then bring it closer, but.
Okay. All right, is there a motion to approve the first reading?
I make a motion.
Carl, is there a second?
Second.
Chad, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Consider approving the first reading of the revised district policy 701, establishment and adoption of school district budget.
I don't know if you have anything to share on it.
The policy would
Same.
describe how we would establish and adopt a budget.
All right. Is there a mo-
I believe this is one of those policies we just didn't have.
Oh,
Okay.
Right.
We were doing it in compliance with state law, we just didn't have a policy.
okay.
All right. Is there, thank.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Carl. Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Consider approving the first reading of the revised policy 701-1, modification of school district budget.
Pretty much the same
Is
thing.
that the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay, is there a motion to approve? Krista, second.
I'll second it.
Carl, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? School board member comments.
Before there's any comments, one thing that I forgot about in the learning plan, we are required to have a planning day.
Mhm.
So what I should have mentioned earlier and I didn't highlight it, but April 1st, it was a shortened day already on our school calendar. So we chose to just make that day, that's the end of the quarter. So teachers will finish up the grades for third quarter and then do what they need to do for planning for all the students, make adjustments to their classrooms and stuff. So
What day is it?
April 1st.
Or
It's a Thursday.
Thursday.
and
It's the
April
Thursday
Fools.
before the Friday
Yeah.
the break.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm sure there'll be people like think
Yeah.
that's an April Fool's joke, but
No.
No, it's he just didn't want me to blame jokes.
School remember comments, anybody? No? All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Carl, is there a second? Dave, all in favor? Aye. Adjourn 6:50.
Bam, we're right there.
Carl, right on